Looks like it's working. Alright, so what up, what up? Just recording this quick video to help a buddy out with some Final Fantasy tips. And if anyone else sees this, that's cool. If not, let's get into it once the game starts up. Alright, you just gotta wait for the queue. And what I'm about to show you is like super basic. There's no complexity in this. I may show you a small rotation when using your Thorough Mage, who becomes a Black Mage later on, and how to balance your mana regen versus damage output. And if you need, any help with like healers or tanks, I can also do that. This always takes a little bit of time, even though it's only 1 o'clock. There's a lot. Oh no, it's 2:24. It's a lot of people online. I'll try and get ready for Endwalker. Mm-hmm. Alright. So, uh-oh, that's weird. I logged in, but I'm like, can't see myself. There it goes. Alright, so let's go somewhere that's not so crowded. This is a weird little location, but it works for the purposes that I'm about to show you. Alright, first and foremost, actually, hold on, let me lower the game volume. Alright, because that was loud as hell. Cool. So, first things first. You said you were having troubles with finding quests and things of that nature. So, for that instance, first thing, if you hit square, it pulls up your map, and if you use your right analog stick, you can actually scroll around the map. And if you want to zoom out, you hold L1 and pull the right analog stick back or push it forward. And you can make the map bigger to see everything that's in the area. Actually, as you can see, I have a mission that's right over there that I need to complete, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, that's the map. That's how you control the map. And while you're in the map, you can actually go and look. So, say you're trying to figure out where your next quest is, and it tells you need to be in the pillars. You just hit the pillars, go check it out. If you've been there before, you can teleport there by finding where the Aethernet is, And for this one, it's over here at Foundation. And to teleport, you would just click X on that Ethernet, but it only works on the large ones. It doesn't work on any of these small ones like you see here. So these ones you can't really do anything. But you'll know you can use this because it snaps to it and then it gives you a price in the name of the area. Alright, next thing, you go to your journal. And in your journal, it shows you all the quests that you currently have active or that you've accepted. And those quests are actually on the right side of the screen. If you don't want those quests there, go into your journal, find whatever ones look like they're active, and you double click square, and it'll give it this block symbol. And when it's blocked, as you can see on the right, it's taking it away so you can no longer see it. And there it goes, and they're all gone except for this one. Now, there's nothing there, nothing else hindering your screen or anything like that. But if there's a specific mission that you're trying to complete, like say for instance, this main story mission, and you can tell it's a main story mission, one, because of the way the icon looks. So this is a class mission because it has the classes icon. These are just regular missions, but they have a plus next to them because they add some kind of content to your game. Alright, so if you want to be able to track that mission, you click square to bring it back, and then you hit square again to highlight that square and make a yellow highlight. And then when you do that, it will actually show up on your map once you're in the area of wherever you need to be. So I need to be here. So I would go here. So it's right here. So then I would have to click X to bring up the actual map. Click here, and then I would have to teleport there. Alright. And then once you teleport there, unfortunately, because you are a new player, you said you were level 5, you're going to have to walk. You're going to have to walk everywhere. Unless you have a friend with a 2-seated mount, everywhere you go is going to be walking. And so these, while we're doing this, these are your hotbars. This is how you play the game. You're level 5, so clearly you've killed some things, completed some quests. So each one of them, the left and the right, are tied to your L2 and R2. And then each button corresponds to a button. So up, down, left, right, and then triangle, square, X, and O. And same thing for the left. But you do have 8 different hotbars that you can go through and set stuff to. So for me, I set my main abilities that I'm going to be using, any of the side abilities that I use but wouldn't use often, and then I usually have the third one for stuff that's not very important, but I may need it in my time of need, whenever. Alright, so what I like to do is set my mounts here as well, so that way I can get around quicker, so I don't have to, walk. Alright, I don't really care about the mounts right now. So, I'm going to get on my mount, and if you can see up in the right-hand corner, that little circular map right here, it actually shows you, if you can see it, the little quest marker all the way over there in the left-hand corner, that right here, it's actually telling me where I need to go. So if I just follow that, it'll take me right to the mission. Because I know it can be very confusing completing a mission. And if that doesn't help you, looking at the map up in the right hand corner, then you can hit square, even when you're traveling, to open the map to see where you're supposed to go. And if you ever want to travel, but you don't want to have to hold the button to get all the way there, just hold forward and then hit L1 and then let go of both. And when you let go, your character will keep moving forward, and all you have to do is use the right analog to go up, down, left, right, if you're flying. If you're walking, same thing applies, but on the ground, so you're not going to be able to go up and down. You'll just go forward and back. And then, as you can see all the different quests on the map. And then right there on the right, there's the mission that highlighted. Now, one thing to note, if you go into your journal and you block that quest, I don't know if you noticed, but it's gone now. It goes away. It's no longer up there on the map. So you won't know where you're supposed to go until you get close or unless you have the main map opened. So if it's a main story quest or something that you want to complete, like your character, your class, and job quests, make sure you have them open and highlighted so you can see them. So if you have them open, it'll be over there and it's cool. You'll see it. You'll be able to track it. But you don't want to have too much stuff open at once because then it gets a little overwhelming and just takes up a lot of space. All right, now just to give you a quick, very quick of the system and character configuration. So character configuration is where you can go to set what kind of gamepad you want to use, whether you want to use a controller or a mouse and keyboard. It also controls a lot of other stuff. Like it controls how your camera works and how your mount takes off. It lets you direct chat. And if you have all of these unclicked, every time you go into a home, every time you do a dungeon or some kind of instance material, it will always play the opening cutscene. If you want to get rid of that, you have to click these, especially if you're going to be running a lot of content to level up, because killing enemies gives you very little XP. It's all about running dungeons and trials and leave quests and things like that. Quests are very important to leveling up in this game. And then fates as well. I'll show you a little bit of that over in New Gridania because that's your main area. All right, so that's all of that. There's a lot of other stuff in here, but I don't mess with it because it really doesn't bother me. And then this shows your item settings, shows you how to, like, where you want to put stuff, how everything is set up, how your items are sorted. So I actually have it in standard. I'm going to change all this to ascending because it gets a little annoying when you have to sort your inventory constantly. Now, this is your UI, your user interface settings. I don't mess with any of that either. What I will say is if you do want to change any of the big settings in the game, definitely look up a video, find the one that works for you, and then use what they did to set up your stuff. Make sure you leave a like or subscribe if you like their content. Now this is for your hotbar. You can change 100% how your hotbar looks. I am not going to do that because I prefer my hotbar exactly the way it is. But if you want to, that's how you do it. And then that's just the log that's over here in the left hand corner. So if you're ever looking at this log, keep a lookout, especially if you end up in a FC, a free company, or you have a group of friends that you play with online, because they may be messaging you, and it's kind of hard to tell unless you make this bigger, but I really don't like it when this takes up space. All right, so next is the system config. So system config is where you control sound and things like that. So for this one, you can have it set up so when you're in residential areas, there's a lot of bass game music. This is how you control your fix the controls for your wireless controller, for your mouse, for your display, and for your the themes that you have and all that other stuff that I honestly never mess with as well. Now we're going to go. So these are all the different logs. If whenever you get some time, I know it's annoying. It probably takes up a lot of time. Just look through this stuff because there's stuff that you never know when you need it. This is how right here. Go push start. Go to character. Go to action and traits. This is how you access all your different actions and all the other information related to your character and how they react. Now, you probably haven't done this yet because you're only level 5, but once you get to level 18, What I will suggest is you put Swift Cast on your bar because it's very helpful for mages. And if you don't have it, you definitely need it. Surecast, I wouldn't say recommend it's a necessity, but it's definitely very, very helpful, especially if you're trying to cast a big attack damage and then the balls hit you with an AoE and then you have to move. What Surecast does, it makes it so even if you move, you get hit, you get knocked back, your cast doesn't stop and it still goes through. Because what you're going to find out in a lot of dungeons is whenever you take damage, like direct damage, a lot of the time, even if you're casting magic, it will just straight shut you down. All your magic will stop. Then you got to reset. And if you're a healer, you got to make sure you're very, very wary of that. All right. So this is traits. To be honest, that's not even that important to see. Performance, you unlock this. I believe there's like a small quest, or they might just give it to you. But this is just like, side game stuff. Stuff you do when you beat the game and you're just bored standing around. This orders, you have your companion, which I think at level 25, once you've joined a grand company in one of the three main holds in around Reborn, you will get a chocobo after completing a couple of missions, and this is how you tell your chocobo to come back, follow you, to do whatever it wants, to defend you, to heal you, or to attack. Make sure in the beginning, since you are it sounds like you're going to primarily be playing DPS, you're going to want to set your chocobo to defender stance. So what it'll do is tank all the enemies you're fighting so you don't take damage. Just watch its health as you go. Now, as you unlock more stuff in the game, then you get squadrons, which is this is how you do stuff inside dungeons if you're tanking or healing. Then you get, if you are a summoner or a scholar, you have a pet that you can bring in and out of combat. This is how you control that. And then they have the general commands like sprint, teleport, return, duty action 2, duty action 1, limit break, auto attack, jump, etc., etc. A lot of this you'll unlock slowly as you go. And then you've got your main commands, which is just like stance, action, and traits. It's literally main commands is just this whole thing that you're at right now. If you ever get into PvP, this is going to be very crucial. Do not forget to add these job and additional things to your hotbar. If you've never done PvP with a specific character, a lot of times, since all these updates, you'll go in with blank. It'll just look like this. It'll be empty. You won't be able to attack. You won't be able to do anything. And to add stuff to your hotbar, you go to the attack or the ability, and you hit square, and then you just hold R2 plus the corresponding button, and it'll put it there. Now, if you want to delete something, hold R2 or L2, hit the middle button, your little touchpad, and then hit the attacker ability twice. And then it'll ask, do you want to delete from hotbar? And then just hit yes, and that's how you do that. Cool. On to the next thing. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Black Mage. So when you're in dungeons, people aren't, talking trash about you. It doesn't really matter. Half the time you're not going to be paying attention to the freaking chat. But sometimes it can get a little annoying when people are tripping out because you're new and they want you to play like you're not new. All right. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Hold on. I don't know if they're saying hi to me or not because I wasn't paying attention. All right, they're not. It doesn't matter. All right, cool. So now we're here. So what you'll find as you do, actually, I don't want to ride that. I kind of hate that guy. It honestly doesn't matter, but I guess it's just a preference to me. So what you'll find is if you open the map, you'll see these little things like these right here. And these are what you call fates. These are also a good way to gain a little extra XP. And to interact with the fate, all you got to do is show up to the area. If you're above the level, it'll ask you to sync. To sync, you just touchpad. Touchpad is how you interact with all the things in your user interface on the front of the screen. So you just touchpad till you get to where you want to go. And then if you're over leveled, it'll tell you to level sync. So then you level sync. And then as you can see, the enemies are up there. So hold on. Now I gotta go up there. That guy's about to disconnect. Alright. So for Black Mage or Thauromancer, fire is your primary spell, as well as ice. So fire is going to be your damaging spell. It does significantly more damage than all of your other primary spells like ice and thunder. Thunder leaves a damage over time on the enemy, and then lightning, that's what I meant. Thunder leaves a damage over time. As you can see, he's got a 16-second count, and it ticks away like 5 to 10 damage every few seconds. So as you can see, my XP is really low, and it's not gonna regenerate. For a Black Mage, your XP does not regenerate, because if you hit transpose, it puts you in ice form, and as you can see, now my XP is going back up. Now my XP is raising, and then I can attack constantly when I have the little ice ball floating around me. As long as that ice ball is around you, you are good. You are good to just keep attacking, attacking, and attacking if you do not switch to fire. But the thing is, you want to get into fire attack as much as possible. So then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to figure out a rotation. Whatever's best for you, or you can find one online. So what a lot of people do in dungeon is the fire attack as many times as they can until they run out of MP. Once they run out of MP, then they'll hit transpose to switch them over to ice. So once you hit 0, you can just use hit transpose to switch you to ice. I would save that for when you have absolutely no MP. And there are attacks that take every single drop of your MP to do devastating damage to large groups. But it has drawbacks, because for every enemy you hit, you lose a little bit of damage output. But this is a fate. This is all you got to do. You just got to complete the required, whatever it says over on the right hand side. It typically usually says like defeat a specific amount of animals, or protect a caravan, leave this person here, leave that person there, so on and so forth. But I'll show you here in a second, Black Mage. What I mean by you have attacks that'll just straight drain every ounce. But what they did do, which I like, is they gave Black Mage and other DPS characters the ability to use Lucid Dreams, which regenerates your MP over time. I actually didn't mean to hit that. Alright, so when I was telling you about before, Swift Cast. So here's how long it takes to cast this spell. And if I move, it gets interrupted. Now, you hit Swift Cast, and here's how long it takes. None. It doesn't take long at all. It just happens. Now you can see I'm in fire form. I have no MP. It is not going to regenerate. There's no way to get it back except for Lucid Dreaming, and I think there's another ability called Aether Flow. But see what happened? It went up to 3600, 7200, full. That's all it takes. 3 to 4 seconds, and I got all my MP back. But I think that's all the basic of the basic stuff. So what you want to do is, attack with your fire abilities, and then once you run out of MP, just switch it up. That's it. Oh, and this is what your character will be like when it's max level. These are what your spells will be like. Oh, and another little thing that I figured out was if you have the three dots and you want to use an ability of um, the opposite side. So, say for instance, I just use ice. Now, if I switch over to fire, the cast time is literally a second. And if I go from fire to ice, the cast time is literally a second. But if I go ice to ice, the cast time is a little over one and a half seconds, maybe 2 seconds. So if you're ever in a dungeon and you're about to run out of your ice over here on the right hand side, just pop fire 3, and then it'll proc you over to 3 dots for fire, and it's pretty cool. I like that. I like that little touch. It didn't used to always be like that, or maybe it has. I never tried it before. I always use transpose for everything. And if you never want to drop that dot, transpose only has like a 5 second cooldown, so you can just keep doing it over and over again. All right, and that's that. Now, I'm going to take you through a dungeon so you can get a the basic gist of what it's like. I'm going to either heal or yeah, I'm probably going to heal cuz like I was telling you, these are the duties. As you level up and you go through the stories, the first dungeon you're going to unlock is Sastasha. It's not hard, it is extremely easy, and what you're going to find is that a lot of people that are playing right now, some are new, but the majority of us are not. We've been playing since 2014 or 15, whenever this game came out for PC and PS3 and all that stuff, or even earlier. Some of these people have been playing Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 11, and I'm talking about the MMO, not just the regular games, the MMOs. So a lot of people know that there's things they need to look out for. There's all kinds of stuff they need to be aware of. So once you hit level 15, what I suggest you do is go to, because it's going to send you to Airport. And once you get to Airport, if you're already level 15, do not do any more of the missions or don't start the dungeon. What I want you to do is go do the join the novice. Basically, I'm gonna regain my mentor status, and I'm gonna invite you to the novice network. And then that way you can ask questions to mentors and other people who've been playing this game for years about all kinds of stuff. But what you're gonna do, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll show you here in about a split second. All right, it finally opened. So we're gonna fly over there. But once you get here, you're just gonna get to Elport. You're just gonna come out that door and go right on in here to the smith. And when you go to the smith, he is going to ask you if you want to do, you're going to register for the Hall of the Novice Training. After you've completed the novice training, you're going to unlock some level 15 gear that is actually very, very good and will last you almost up to level 20, maybe even 25. Sometimes. That's if you can't afford or have anyone that can make you really, really, really good, high quality gear. But that's what you do. And then for dungeons, these are all the dungeons. Depending on how long you play, you may unlock all of them. But a lot of these are tied to the story. So if you're playing through the main story, a lot of this stuff, except for the ones that say hard next to them, you will be completing. You have no choice. It's going to make you complete almost all of these dungeons, all the way up. So once you hit level 50, these are the last few that you have to mandatory. And these two right here are going to take you minimum 30 to 35 minutes to an hour. So before you start to make sure you have no one distracting you, no one getting in your way. Because people rush these. The moment the cutscene ends, they rush. And if you're not paying attention, you will be left behind and you will probably die. Alright. And then, you can tell when the dungeons are about to end for the story because they'll go, they used to be even number, but now they're odd number. So you got 51, 53, 55, 57, 59, etc., etc. Then once you hit level 60, a few of these will be mandatory, but after that, it's all whether or not you want to do it. And same goes for these. You know what? I'm wrong. They've always been odd number. I just never paid attention. No, I was right. See what I mean?